So I just finished all my chores. Well, not really. All the ones that I really was looking forward to doing. So I thought I would do a complete orchard and apiary tour video. Probably not complete, but at least for the most part, most of the edible trees and bushes that I'm growing. So we'll start here with the Itchy Key Kai Jiro something 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 persimmon. It did have a lot of persimmons on it, and it dropped every one of them, which is not surprising because I just planted that in 2023. So that is the Itchy Key Kai Jiro. I think that's how you say it. Um, yep, so that's that. I'm going on the far side of my property first. Here is, remember that lemon tree that I started from seed? I think in about 2000, well, I can't even remember, 14, 12, 13, somewhere there, and it died all the way back down to the ground. And so I planted this here beside it. This is the Sakari, I think. Yeah, that is the Sakari. I planted that there thinking that that one was dead, but as you can see, it is coming back wonderfully. And so that is a lemon that was planted from seed. That's the Sakari. I just put that in the ground this year, a couple of months ago actually, or maybe a month or so ago. And then we come over here, have one of the apple trees that I started from seed from an apple called the rocket apple. I had never heard of it. It's a really small apple, but it was really, really good, bite size, maybe 2 or 3 bites and you were done. I actually have 3 of those somewhere. This is a persimmon. It actually was a part of a rootstock of a persimmon that I had purchased, broke off, so I stuck it over here by the woods. Same with this apple, because I just don't know how big they're going to get. And so I stuck them on the very outer perimeter of my property. Here we have the goji berry, which from everything I read is supposed to spread and take over, but it's been there about 2 years maybe, and it really hasn't spread a whole lot. But I don't do anything to it either, so that may be it. Here's one of my elderberry bushes. It is starting to put on berries this year, and I think this one is called the cut leaf elderberry. Let's see, let's go over here before I start down to citrus row. Oh, wait a minute, forgot one. I had another persimmon tree that died back, and so I brought the rootstock over here and planted it. And all this stuff that I'm showing you back over here, I don't do anything to it. I don't fertilize it. I don't come back here and water it. I just kind of let it go. Over here is a cutting that I took from one of my plum trees last year in November. This is the Methley plum. It's a little teeny thing, but I'm gonna wait and see what that does. Over here, this was my very first garden. When I first moved here, I had these 3 little sections right here as a garden. And then I lost my mind, y'all. But here is the seedless che. And look at that orange. It is grafted on Osage orange. And from all my research, it says that's why it gets that orange coloring on the bark. I love that. But that is the seedless che. Whew. Over here is a blackberry that I pulled up. It is the Freedom Arc. I moved it because it wasn't doing very well here, and that grew back. So I'm going to leave it. It wants to be there apparently. Here is that one of the lemon trees I had. Actually, it was a 942 that I had in the back of the yard, and it died over the winter. And I threw it in the woods, and I thought about it, and I said, maybe I will see if it will grow, but I think it was in the woods too long and the roots had dried out. But anyway, I just stuck that there. Here is the black lace elderberry. And I think, yeah, it's putting on a few little elderberries this year as well. This is my pollinators garden, y'all. So don't be thinking I have a messy, messy yard. That's for the bees. Okay, let's go back over here. This is what I call citrus row. I have actually planted citrus under all of these trees at the border to my property because I want to see if these trees protect these fruit trees, citrus trees, from the north winds without protection. Okay, so this was one of the citrus trees that I had on the other side of the property. It was the it was variegated Mineola. Now it is the rootstock, which is 802 according to the label that was on it. And I don't know how big this thing is going to get either. So I couldn't even really find a lot of information on the rootstock 802. So that's why it's over here at the edge of the property as well. So it can get as large as it wants. Here is the, I think it's the Thomasville maybe. Nope, Brown Select. So here's the Brown Select. It has a couple of fruit on it. One there and one there. And I think I just put that one out here this year. I did just put this out here a few months ago as well. And it's doing well. Like I said, these trees really don't get a lot of attention at all. I occasionally water them when I think about it, when I have time and I'm not too exhausted from doing other stuff. This is one of the 942s that I thought had died over the winter. Here is one of the 942s that I thought died, and I do believe it's still dead. So that is that. Here is, I believe, is this the Apiary or the Thomasville? I think it's the Thomasville. Let's see. Yeah, that's the Thomasville. I put a fertilizer on there that was high in phosphorus, and this thing loaded up with flowers in a matter of like 3 or 4 days, and I knew they weren't going to hold. And of course they dropped. And I think I have just one on here that actually held. This plant is really too young to be fruiting, but I'm gonna leave that one on there. That's the Thomasville. This is, I think, one of the Apiaries. Yep, that is one of 3 Apiaries that I have. Yesterday I just added that barrel because that's all this tree is going to get this winter. So that is the Apiary. Back, let's see, here are some cuttings I took off of the 10-degree tangerine July 8th of last year. Nope, that's when I put those other things in there. Anyway, I think I did this in the fall before I covered up the Apiary. It's not doing anything. It's not growing. It's not dying. Those leaves, I cut the tips off so I could tell when new leaves came on it. But I'll just leave it. Here is the Flying Dragon. It's doing really, really well. Has put on quite a bit of growth since it came out of winter, and it didn't drop its leaves this winter. Back here, if you remember, I just threw some lemon seeds. Let's see, there's one there. There's another one there. There's quite a few of them. I just threw them out here to see if they would grow, and I watered everything today. And they seem to be doing okay with the neglect that they suffer at my hands. Over here is another 942 that survived the winter, and it's coming back in fuller. And I really like the way it looks, because when I first planted them, they were just a straight up single stick. And here's another one, 942, and it is being shaded by that tree branch, and I'm going to leave it because I want that same protection this winter. Here is the second lemon tree that I started from seed that I was sure had died back this winter, but look how well, oh, sorry y'all, I got a cup of water in one hand and trying to film with the other, but look how well that came back after dying back down to the ground this winter. Very pretty, very pretty. And I don't know what variety that is, but the lemon that I ate to plant that seed from was a nice sour Eureka. Here's another 942. And yet another one. I think this is 942. Seville Bitter Orange, actually, is what this one says. Well, and then here we have another 942. I'm sure that's a 942 because I got a pack of them, like 6 or 8 from Madison's for some ridiculous price at one time. So I just purchased them, and they were very small. Like I said, they were just a single stick. But since they died back and they're coming back up, they're bushing out really nicely. And here we have the Maywa Kumquat. And it's doing really well. It is a slow grower. Let me zoom back off there. It's a slow grower. If you remember last winter, I just had that pot over top of it that let some light in. And that was the only protection I gave that last year. And lastly, we have another Apiary. And it also, I thought I lost it this winter. I think, did I have this one covered? I might have had this one covered. Yeah, I did have this one covered. And it actually at one time was looking better than the one that I had covered with light. So I don't know what happened. But anyway, it's coming back nicely. And that is the second Apiary. And may as well touch on my little bees for a minute. Currently have 9.5 beehives, and I'm going to say a half because there was a queen cell in one of the hives, and I took it out because there was another queen had already hatched out, and I wasn't sure if she had killed the queen that was in the other egg or not. So I just went ahead and took it out and put it in another hive, and I'm waiting to see if they make it. I don't think so because it's this hive right here, and I'm not seeing much activity there. So anyway, those are empty boxes, but this one is not. This was one of my biggest producers this year, and they have started filling up again. So I'll probably end up with 2 pulls off of this hive here, as well as another one at the other end. I got over 100 pounds of honey off of 2 hives, which was 7 boxes. I came out of the winter with three hives. One was a 2023 queen, and she was not laying very well, so I had to replace her, and so that left just the box up there, Queen Simone, and this one right here, I think that one is Queen Marie. It left just those 2 boxes for honey. So I think I got seven supers of honey. They weren't all full, but anyway, over 100 pounds of honey is what I got when I pulled a few weeks ago. This is one of my newer hives. This is a 365 hive by Hilco, and I'm trying it out because it's supposed to be supposed to keep the bees cool in the winter and warm in the cool in the summer, warm in the winter. And I love that it latches on the sides, and it also has these frame holders that you can pull out. On the inside is feeders. You can feed liquid feed or powder, and at the bottom Down there, I can open this. There's two other doors down there. I can open those up and collect pollen if I want, and so they'll have to go through the pollen trap. But anyway, so that's the gist of my bees, and I guess we'll go out and work upward for the rest of these trees. Here is another apple from the rocket apple. And it seems the tree that is in the shade more is actually growing better than these ones that's out here in all of this stuff. So that is the rocket apple. Here, I started putting cuttings from those. They're not even cuttings, let me not say that. I've started putting pieces, rooted pieces of, what is that blackberry that I have? And I hope I didn't say blueberry earlier. If I did, I meant blackberry. Arc Freedom blackberries, because those things, don't let people tell you, don't let the tip touch the ground because they'll spread. They don't spread by the tips. They spread by freaking runners, and they're running everywhere. So this whole row here is those blackberries. Here is another Methley plum that I started from a cutting last November from one of my, actually September 12th of last year. I started that from a cutting off of my Methley plum. Over here, I didn't plant this, y'all, but this is a great medicinal. It's called choke cherries. You see my ladders out here because I was out here getting these berries. They're absolutely wonderful for colds and flus. You can make a syrup with them. Really, really good stuff. All right, I've deviated long enough from that. Okay, so over here, I have a sunflower. These bugs are treacherous. I have a sunflower pawpaw tree here. And honestly, y'all, I forget it's back here. So I don't really do a whole lot with that either. Because when I look out, all I see is these bananas. And so it said it needed some shade. And I think it gets pretty good shade from the bananas. And the sun is not high back here all day either. But it's starting to put on some growth this year. Again, that is the sunflower pawpaw tree. Supposedly it's self-pollinating, self-fertile. And so I only have one pawpaw tree, so I hope it really is self-fertile. Here I have another, I think it's a Methley. Started from cutting from the same batch from the other ones. Yep, actually this one is from seed. I started this one September 2024, and I planted 50 seeds, and this is one of the Methleys I started from seed. Here we have more of those blackberries, Arc Freedom blackberries. And then over here, I have another apple tree that was started from the rocket apple. And again, it's not doing as well as the one that's kind of shaded closer to the woods. I also have these back towards the back of my property as well, like I said, because I just don't know how big those things will get. So I put them back here. And then here is one of the newer members of the tribe. And it is one of my nut trees. And it is the Star King Giant Pecan tree. And I know that baby's gonna get huge, which is why it's way back here. And that's bee stuff. Oh, then we'll go back over this way. And I'm pretty sure we're coming up on my little almond tree here. This is the all-in-one almond tree. Just a baby. Oh, zoom out some. It's a baby, but it's doing well. And again, y'all know I don't get out here much, but I do come out sometimes. Okay, now we're going into where I have most of my apples planted at. This one is the Rubaiyat. It is a red fleshed apple. And I just planted that, I think, last fall. No, it wasn't this past fall. Not 2024 fall, 2023, I believe. But I'm not going to go through all the labels. I'm just going to tell you what I have. Uh-oh. Looky here. Looks like the Japanese beetles have arrived. There's 2. There's 3. And they've been eating on my cherry tree. I'll deal with them later. But this is a Bing cherry tree. And I just got that this past fall. Over here we have the dwarf Stella cherry. Yep, and they have arrived. Look at that. Still not as bad as they normally are. Hopefully they're gone by the end of June. But that is the dwarf Stella. And then let's see where we'll go. Oh, we'll go this way. Okay. Over here, y'all, if I butcher these names, it's just cause I'm butchering them. This is the Hukotu or Hukuto apple tree. Hukuto. It currently, last I checked, has the world record for being the biggest apple. And I forget how many pounds that apple weighed. But that is it. I got that in 2022. It has not fruited for me yet. Here is an apple tree that the deer got a hold of, rubbed their antlers on. It's called the summer banana. I'll tell you the story behind this tree. So, thank God it's grafted really low, because all of that is the actual variety summer banana. And so, it put on 2 branches. Not these 2, I'm talking about 2 other ones. And so I came down and tried to wrap it to protect it and knocked both of them off. And so, thankfully, they started to grow again. And I'm not touching them this time until they get bigger and stronger. Okay, here's another apple tree. And so I don't keep repeating myself. None of these apples have fruited for me yet. None of the apple trees. This one, I think, is the Joseph's apple. I got most of these within the same time period, maybe a year apart. But that is the Joseph's apple. Here is, which one is this? Let's see. Oh, this is the Fuji. This is my Fuji, one of my Fujis. There. And then here must be the Arkansas Black. Yep, this is my Arkansas Black apple tree. And again, no fruits as of yet. Over here, I had a Williams Pride apple and I snapped it with the water hose. And so I stuck a Shiro plum, hopefully you can see that I started from a cutting last year. It's not doing much of anything, but it's not dropping its leaves and it's not dying, so I'll take that. Over here, we have a Russian pomegranate mixed in with all this sheep sorrel. It is cold hardy, and I've not done anything to this tree, but that is the Russian pomegranate. It's a baby. It was very little when I purchased it. Here is, I think, a peach tree, maybe, because I ran out of room in my in the area where I have peaches. It's an apiarium, cotton candy apiarium. But I ran out of room where I have my stone fruit, so I had to start putting stuff back here. And I swore I'm not buying any more fruit trees. That's what my mouth says anyway. Here is, and I know I'm gonna butcher this name, so I may as well look it up. This is also an apple tree. And Let me tell you the name of it, because I can't even pronounce it when I'm reading it. So let's try it. Let's go over this side. It is the Caville Blanc d'Iver apple tree. And I know that's not how they say it, but put some French on it and that's how you say it. Then over here is another stone fruit, I'm pretty sure. Yep, it is the Saturn peach tree. Again, I ran out of room where it's supposed to be at, so I stuck it over here. Here's another Russian pomegranate. I think this one is the Solovosky. All right, let me see. I don't know which one that is because I did cuttings from the Solovosky and the Serenity, and I just stuck them all in the, and I'm probably not saying that Serenity right, but I stuck them all in the same pot. Some rooted, some didn't. So that's one that rooted. Here is another Seville 942. This is actually one of my oldest ones. I never protect those, and it has never lost its leaves in zone 7B. And then here, I just picked. There was just one little peach on here today, and it's actually a little overripened. But I think this is the Stark King Delicious, maybe. Oh, I don't have a tag on it. Uh-oh, I need to make a tag. Yep, this is the Stark King Delicious peach. And I'll probably make the picture of the peach the the picture y'all see before you watch the video, because I just picked it this morning. Here is, I have a long nectarine on there, and this one is Royal Giant nectarine, and that's fairly new as well. Here we have another Seville bitter orange. Again, winter hardy to at least the 7B. I hear you can't kill the thing, and I've done absolutely nothing to protect it. And you see it's growing very well. It's still putting out new shoots, and it has very sharp spikes on it, so I really don't touch it. So all that stuff growing down there will stay. Here is one of the newer figs that I bought last fall. And I think it is the Italian fig. Let me double check. Where are my name tags on here? And I know I had a name tag on this thing. Oh, there it is. Jeez. It is the Italian golden fig. This one I thought was dead. It has started to grow in the last couple of weeks. This was a new one. I bought the same time as I bought that Italian fig down there. I bought it last November. Didn't cover it. It's the Violet de Bordeaux. And actually it says November 23. Is that when I bought that? Huh. Okay, well anyway, I didn't protect it. Haven't protected it. I think I put the wrong date on it. I'm almost sure that was 24, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it's never been protected. This one I think is the Celeste fig. It's loaded up this year. Hope you can see that. The sun is in my eyes, so I can't really see what I'm showing you very well. But anyway, pretty sure that's the Celeste. This was supposed to be a black mission, but I'm told it's not, based off of the fruit that I got. Uh-oh, y'all, look at that. Those big suckers that I told y'all about last year, looks like they have arrived too. Uh-oh, that's not good. I'm gonna have to do something about that. Okay, back to the video. This was supposed to be a black mission, but it is either a Celeste or an improved Celeste from what I'm being told. And that is probably the biggest fig bush I have out here. All of that new growth is from this year. It died back. Every one of these died back down to the ground. I thought they were dead, but they came back. This one, look, there's one of them big suckers. Ooh, I talked them things up. Okay, this one is, what are you? LSU purple fig. It has figs on it as well. So, all right, now let's venture up this way a little bit. Oh, I forgot the grapevines over there. Okay, way over there are some grapevines on that trellis, some muscadines, and I think Neptune grapes. We're not gonna walk back over there to show you grapes. Here is the beautyberry plant. Gets really pretty purple berries on it. They don't taste that great, in my opinion, but they're very good medicinals. And I have 2 of those. Here is another fig that I always forget about when I'm doing videos on the figs. And this is the Cadodo fig. And I actually won that off of YouTube because I named a YouTuber's dog, I think it was, Odom. I can't remember his whole video channel. But anyway, that is the Cadodo fig that I won from YouTube. And then if we go over here, this is the Viking Aronia berry. Can't say much about that yet. I just pulled some berries off of it, and it has berries on it, but they're not all the way ripe yet. But I did pour some, and they aren't the greatest tasting berries. Here I have another pomegranate tree. It is a cold hardy pomegranate, and this cup is giving me the blues. Cold hardy pomegranate, and this one is called the Salavatsky pomegranate. Here I have another persimmon tree. This is the Fuyu. It was loaded, but it has also dropped some, but there are some holding on. It's a small tree, so it can probably hold on to those few little fruit that it has on there, I'd imagine. Okay, these were some plum trees that my grandson was supposed to take home that kind of started from a cutting, and he forgot them. This is the lemon tree that I'm going to leave in the house. It is called the Dwarf Amoa. That will be going back in the house this winter. Over here, we have that ruby red grapefruit. I'm not sure what's going on with Miss Ruby over here, but she's getting really light yellow leaves here where there's a fruit, and here on this side she was loaded down with fruit. That might be an indication of something going on. I have to look into that. But she was loaded down with fruit, and they all dropped except for that one. So I'm not sure if I'll have fruit from that or not, but we'll see. Here is another fig. This is that yellow and green one, panache or panache fig, and I do have one on there. And then y'all know this beast right here. This is my 10-degree tangerine that refuses to flower for me, but I'm not going to complain too much because she came through the winter just like this. She was covered and she did have lights, but so did all the rest of these, and they all dropped their leaves and looked horrible. She did not. Pretty much she looked just like that. Here is the Wari that I thought had died. I did have to cut it back significantly, as you can see, but she is growing back, and that is all above the graft line. So I'll have to do better at protecting her next year or this winter, because she did survive, but she did not thrive, and I need these plants to thrive. The variegated Mineola was here. I showed y'all that on the other side. That is now the rootstock 802. And so here was my 3-way lemon. I lost the Eureka and the Lisbon, And this is the ponderosa that is still growing. So hopefully I'll be able to do better with that this winter as well. Here we have the sugar bell, and she seems to be thriving. Gosh, I hope y'all can see that. She's putting out a lot of new growth, and I really need to get in here and get all this grass away from the roots. Just never enough time to do all of this stuff. Here is one of my love-hate pomegranates. This is the Wonderful. I've had this thing about 6 years, and I have never gotten fruit from it. I left it in the ground for several years. It died back, come back, did nothing. Took it in the house, brought it back out, covered it, and it kept its leaves. This one's only been out for one winter. This one was out in the ground for 2 winters. And same thing, same age as that one, or at least I purchased them both at the same time. And not one piece of fruit off of either one of those. So let's see, we should go this way. Y'all, when I tell y'all I was a plant addict, I'm not kidding. There was a spot out here, a plant went in it. Okay, so this is my apricot. This is the Blenheim apricot. It hasn't flowered or any, oh yes it did, it flowered, but I didn't get any fruit this year. It smelled wonderful though when it was in flower. But that's the Blenheim apricot. Over here is another, actually I think this might be the Shiro plum. It might be the Nestle, it might be the Shiro, let's see. That I started from a cutting. Yep, that's the Shiro. I started that from a cutting from my Shiro plum tree. All right, y'all. Let's go see what we can see out here. And hopefully y'all can see better, because I am struggling to see this video, and hopefully y'all can see what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so here is one of my pineapple guavas. It is the oldest. I had considered using it as a hedge, but it grows much too slow for my taste to be considered a hedge. So I kind of just left it, but I had purchased some more before I decided to not use it as a hedge, and they're on the other side of the property. But that is the pineapple guava. I have not gotten any fruit from it, but it did flower, and the flowers were wonderful tasting. Here is another cutting from, let's see, is it the Shiro or the Methley? That's the Shiro. It's a cutting from my Shiro. Here is another apricot tree, and this one is called, let me see, Moore Park. That is the Moore Park apricot tree. As you can see, there is a lot of trees here, and I get a lot of shade. So that's my, that's my struggle with trying to plant trees and running out of space. If I didn't have all these trees, y'all, I'd have a whole lot of more fruit trees that I don't need. Okay, like I said, y'all gonna see in a minute. If there was a hole, I stuck something in it. So down here, I had purchased a plum from Sam's, and that thing was really, really good. And so I planted the seed, and guess what? Here it is. This was the spring flower, and apparently, ouch, I need to come and move this borage back off of it. But this is the spring fire nectarine. It needs some attention. So I'll have to be doing something with that today, because it's really yellow. And I know it's because of this borage is overtaking it. Okay, and over here is another Shiro or Methley, I don't know. But stuck it out here by the road because, oh, I know why. It is a Methley, and it's from seed. And I stuck it out here because I didn't know how big it was going to get. Okay, this is an Alberta peach, And look, all the spraying I did, something still got in them, in some of them. But this is the first year that it has fruited. And the tree really isn't that old. Excuse me, the tree really isn't that old. See, I planted that in April of 23. So I may get some fruit from it. It may have some bugs in them, but we'll fight for them. This was my Shiro, or this is my Shiro tree. It was loaded. I just picked those plums. Huh. Look at that. Yep, I gotta come spray. I just picked those plums a few days ago. I have 3 Shiros out here that there's another one there. This is my jujube. This is the honey jar jujube. 2nd year in the ground, 2nd year fruiting. This is another beauty berry bush. And let's see. Do another blackberry over there at the corner of the shed. That was that grapefruit that did not make it. It was sending up the rootstock, but neglect, it did not make it either. This is, oh my goodness, loquat, Japanese loquat. Has never fruited, probably will never fruit in my zone, but I just think it is a very, very pretty bush. This is my Shinshiki pear. Last year I got 4 pears off of it, really, really good pears. This year it doesn't look like I'm gonna get any pears off of Shinshiki. All right, let's go inside the gate here and finish this thing up. So here is another pomegranate, a Russian pomegranate, Salavosky or Serenary. I don't know which one, but whichever one is not, the other one is over there. It's too hot, y'all. I'm trying to finish this thing up right now. Here's another fig. This is the brown turkey fig. That's the oldest fig I got. Of course, it's popular and common. Here is my Fantasia nectarine tree. It is loaded with nectarines this year. And as much as I spray, and I try to do healthy organic type sprays like sulfur and diatomaceous earth, that ish doesn't work very well. So next year I might have to change my game plan and go a little bit more drastic, because I put a lot of work into these trees. For me not to get any fruit is just unacceptable to me. I hate to even talk about this one because I bought this thing as an instant orchard many years ago, and I haven't gotten not a single fruit off of it yet. This is the Methley plum. Not my favorite. Actually, I don't even like it. This is a pear tree, Migitsu pear. No fruit off of that yet either. This monstrosity right here is a pineapple pear, my very first pear tree I've ever bought. Not one single pear from that either. Over here is another apple tree. This is what is supposed to produce apples in June. It is called the yellow transparent. As of yet, no apples. These are still all pretty young trees. This is another Fuji tree here. And here we have another Shiro. Again, I took all the plums off of this Shiro. This is one of the 3 Shiro are ones that I started from scion cuttings that I had purchased. I was going to graft onto another peach tree, and I just stuck them in the ground, and I got, out of the 4 cuttings, I got 3 trees. And so this is one of them, as well as the other 2 Shiros that I showed you. This is another pear tree. This one is the Moon Glow. And again, no fruit from that yet. Still pretty young. This is my green beans that needs to be watered severely. Oh, let me go over here. Okay, I think this is another pear tree. Yep, this is the Olympia pear, or Olympia, one or the other. This is, I do believe this is my favorite tree. Spring satin plum cod. Let me tell y'all, this thing gave me one plum this year. It's the first time it ever fruited, and it was the best plum I have ever tasted. Sweet on the inside, skin was sweet, absolutely smooth, really, really good plum. So of course I took some cuttings off of it, and I hope they take, because that is a really good tree. I looked up those things now. They want $175 for one tree, and that's not happening. Here I have another persimmon tree. This is the Tanahashi, something like that. And it seems to be doing well. I did not order this tree. I believe it's astringent. This is one of the free trees I got because they mixed up my order with someone else's. And I got this tree. I got that other Fuji back there. And I got a, starts with a Q. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, it died. Quince. That tree died. And then, of course, they did send me my correct trees. So this is another jujube. This is my lead jujube. In one of my videos, I think I told you that the year before last, I had to move these trees, or 2 years ago, I had to move these trees, and this was one of them. And that whole entire next year, it did absolutely nothing. It did not leaf out. It did nothing. So last year, I had to have a talk with it. And now we see what it's doing, because I was going to pull it up. Okay, here is another pear tree that the deer got to, which is the reason I had to put that fence up. Something just stung me, y'all. Sorry about that. This is the Warren pear. The deer had rubbed on it. It was very, very tall. The deer rubbed on it, killed it down, and thankfully I got this from the same place I got that apple from, and he grafts really low, so I am still getting the Warren pear, thankfully. And this is the other pomegranate, either the Shinshiki or the Shiranelbi, whichever one, the other one's not. And that is the last Shiro. And I think, oh, nope, there's some more trees down here, so I may as well do it right, huh? Since I'm telling y'all what I got, I may as well not be lazy and walk on down here and do the last little bit. Because I'm guaranteed I'm still forgetting something, I'm sure of it. But at least I gave it a good try. Oh. Okay, so here I have another goji berry, and I don't think it likes the sun. I think it needs to be moved, but I'm not moving it. It's either going to make it or it's going to go ahead and fake it and take it and whatever. Okay, this is a, oh Lord, let me read it because I'm going to say it wrong. Ogeechee lime tree. Had berries on it last year. Of course, I don't know when the berries are supposed to be ripe. I came back to check and they were all gone. So much for that. This is another pineapple guava. Another bitter orange, which is 942. I think this is 942. Nope, Seville bitter orange. And another pineapple guava. Okay, so that is officially the entire Honey Girls tour of the apiary and orchard. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'm out.